This first video is about what the 2Z token is and what the 2Z token is not. Nihar Shah, DoubleZero, take one. Blockchains keep getting faster, but the public internet between them doesn't. DoubleZero is that project that unlocks the connectivity between distributed nodes in a blockchain system and unlocks their full potential. But ordinarily, DoubleZero and a network like it would struggle to be self-sustaining, dynamic, and efficient without some very centralized oversight and control. And that simply won't work in a distributed and decentralized system. And so the 2Z token is the mechanism that bridges that gap. The 2Z token is how the network remains decentralized, efficient, and dynamic as it continues to evolve with the blockchains atop it. But what is the 2Z token? Well, I think it's helpful to walk through two separate things: what the 2Z token is and what the 2Z token is not. Let's start with what the 2Z token is. The 2Z token powers three critical flows in the DoubleZero network. The first flow is from users to revenue. In order to use the DoubleZero network, users have to pay in the 2Z token, or in a few special cases, we might accept non-native tokens and convert them into 2Z for the user's convenience. But it powers this first core utility flow. The second flow is from that revenue on to being rewards for actual network contributors who provide the underlying fiber connections for the DoubleZero network, with some portion of that as well burned for security and safety. The 2Z token there is what actually powers the efficiency improvements needed to make the DoubleZero network function. And finally, the third flow is powering the overhead. In order for the network to function, there's a series of tasks that resource providers and their associated stakers need to do. They need to make sure that the network is functioning correctly, that the links are performing per their specifications, and that users are in compliance with the network standards. And so these entities, the resource providers and their stakers, are what powers that, and inflation in turn is the mechanism that rewards those entities for performing that network. And so the 2Z token does these three critical functions: some utility, some efficiency, and some security. But it's also helpful to think about what the 2Z token is not. And the 2Z token is not three special things. First, it's not really a governance-only token. Let's be real, in blockchain, a lot of tokens could go away and the projects associated with them would continue to function totally fine. The tokens in a lot of these projects are just simple governance tokens, if that. That's not the 2Z token. If the 2Z token goes away, the DoubleZero network can't be dynamic, it can't be efficient, it can't pay out network contributors, and it can't accept inflows of user funds. Second, the 2Z token is not what I like to call a deep inflationary token. We've also seen many deep-in projects in this space that just mint an excess number of tokens for providers of supply without seeing if this supply is useful or if there's any actual organic demand for it. This then leaves the project in a bad state down the road. It leaves them with an overhang of tokens, an overhang of minted tokens distributed outwards, and an inability to remain dynamic beyond that. That's not what this project is either. Network contributors only get paid from revenue and rewards that are organically earned. There is no inflationary minting for them. And so if network contributors don't provide useful connectivity, they don't get paid and the protocol doesn't mint a bunch of excess tokens. And finally, 2Z is not just a Solana token. Sure, 2Z is an SPL token that lives on the Solana blockchain, but DoubleZero aspires to have many more distributed systems and blockchains run atop it, not just Solana. And here I think it might be helpful to draw out what exactly the flow is. Here we have a diagram of how this all works together. The 2Z token, as mentioned, is an SPL token that lives atop the Solana blockchain. Solana and many other layer 1s in turn work on the DoubleZero network that actually run on the underlying infrastructure that powers the DoubleZero connectivity. And finally, on the side, there's a separate slimmed down DoubleZero ledger that serves a coordinating function both for the token in order to ensure that the token can flow to the actors that are actually providing value, and controlling the underlying network to ensure that the network topology is in compliance with what the economic flows think that they should be. And so that's the 2Z token in a nutshell. It's powering security, it's powering efficiency, and it's powering utility in the DoubleZero system.